Ancient fossil reveals possible ocean origins of spiders. Imagine this, the intricate brains of spiders might have begun their evolutionary journey in the depths of the ocean, long before their ancestors ever set foot on land. A groundbreaking study by researchers from the University of Arizona, Lycoming College in the U.S., and King's College London has unveiled striking similarities between the brains of ancient marine arthropods and modern-day arachnids. This discovery challenges the conventional wisdom about the origins of spiders and their relatives. Today, spiders, scorpions, mites, and ticks are predominantly terrestrial creatures, and the prevailing theory is that these arachnids evolved from a common, land-dwelling ancestor. But here's where it gets controversial: the origin of that ancestor is shrouded in mystery. Arachnids on land are related to other chelicerates in the ocean, such as sea spiders and horseshoe crabs, but the fossil record is frustratingly incomplete. It is still hotly debated where and when arachnids first appeared, and what kind of chelicerates were their ancestors, and whether these were marine or semi-aquatic like horseshoe crabs, explains University of Arizona neuroscientist Nicholas Strausfeld. The transition from sea to land is a monumental step for any creature, regardless of how many legs it has. The oldest accepted remains of an arachnid are of a 430-million-year-old scorpion, a creature that lived on land. However, new evidence suggests that arachnids as a whole may have started to diverge from other chelicerates much earlier than that. At first glance, Mollisonia symmetrica doesn't look very spidery. It resembles a pillbug with numerous little legs, and previously, it was thought to be an ancestor of horseshoe crabs. Using light microscopy, researchers have now imaged the fossil's central nervous system and made an unexpected discovery. The nervous system of Mollisonia doesn't resemble that of a horseshoe crab, or even a crustacean or insect. Instead, the pattern of radiating neural centers was flipped backward, similar to that of an arachnid. The arachnid brain is unlike any other brain on this planet, explains Strausfeld. In the Mollisonia fossil, the unique nervous system seems to innervate numerous legs, as well as two pincer-like mouth parts, where modern spiders now have fangs. This is a major step in evolution, which appears to be exclusive to arachnids, says evolutionary neuroscientist Frank Hirth from King's College London. Yet already in Mollisonia, we identified brain domains that correspond to living species. That seems to be no coincidence. Upon further statistical analysis, Hirth and colleagues have found that arachnids probably didn't evolve similar structures to Mollisonia by accident, they were more likely inherited. If the team is right, that puts Mollisonia at the base of the arachnid lineage, making it a sister to horseshoe crabs and sea spiders. While still speculative, it's possible that the unique brain structure seen in the Mollisonia lineage helped its later successors survive on land. Neural shortcuts to the legs and pincers, for instance, could make it easier to control and coordinate complex movements, like walking or weaving webs. We might imagine that a Mollisonia-like arachnid also became adapted to terrestrial life, making early insects and millipedes their daily diet, theorizes Strausfeld. Perhaps it was the earliest arachnids on land that first drove insects to evolve wings, and hence flight, and maybe, in turn, airborne prey led to the evolution of webs. From the ocean floor to the treetops, the way that arachnids have adapted to the changing times is truly enviable. The study was published in Current Biology. But here's the part that might spark some debate: if arachnids did indeed originate in the ocean, how did they make the leap to land? And what other marine creatures might have similar untold stories? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Could there be more to the story of arachnid evolution than we currently understand? Ancient backwards brain fossil reveals ocean origins of spiders. The discovery of a remarkable fossilized brain offers a groundbreaking perspective on the evolutionary history of spiders and their relatives. Contrary to previous beliefs that these arachnids originated exclusively on land, this new evidence suggests that their ancestors may have actually thrived in oceanic environments. The fossil belongs to an ancient creature called Mollisonia symmetrica, and researchers have identified an intriguing characteristic: the arrangement of certain brain features in this extinct species is reversed when compared to the brains found in most present-day arthropods, a vast grouping that includes insects, crustaceans, and millipedes. Interestingly, the brain structure of M. symmetrica bears a closer resemblance to that of contemporary arachnids, which encompasses spiders, scorpions, and ticks. This unusual configuration leads scientists to propose that M. symmetrica could be one of the early ancestors of today's arachnids, as reported in a recent study published in Current Biology. Nicholas Strausfeld, a notable co-author of the study, and a professor at the University of Arizona specializing in arthropod neuroscience, emphasized that the origins and historical context of arachnids are still hotly debated. Specifically, the questions surrounding the timeline and habitat of their earliest ancestors, whether they were fully marine or semi-aquatic like horseshoe crabs, remain open for discussion. Chelicerates, the group to which both arachnids and horseshoe crabs belong, began diverging from other arthropods during the Mid-Cambrian era. Mollisonia itself lived approximately between 515 million and 480 million years ago, and exhibited a body structure similar to that of a scorpion, featuring a rounded carapace and multiple pairs of appendages for locomotion and predation. Although the specific timing of when arachnids diverged from other chelicerates remains uncertain, these creatures have existed for nearly 400 million years. Past fossil evidence has generally suggested a predominantly terrestrial lifestyle for arachnids. In their innovative study, researchers examined the fossilized brain and central nervous system of a specimen from the Burgess Shale Formation in the Canadian Rockies. Their analysis revealed that the layout of M. symmetrica's brain did not match that of the Limulus genus of horseshoe crabs. Instead, they found an inversion in how certain brain regions were arranged, aligning more with the brain structure of modern spiders. This finding implies that arachnids may have evolved and separated from horseshoe crabs earlier than previously believed. Strausfeld elucidated this fascinating discovery. It's akin to observing that the brain structures seen in Cambrian fossils or those of ancestral crustaceans and insects are, in a manner of speaking, flipped backward, similar to what we observe in the brains of modern spiders. This unique arrangement of the brain is characteristic of arachnids in the animal kingdom today, signaling that M. symmetrica might represent one of the early forms of arachnids, and it's likely that this distinctive brain structure developed in marine environments rather than evolving later on land. Analysts studying the brains of contemporary spiders speculate that this inverted configuration enhances their ability to execute predatory movements with remarkable stealth, speed, and agility. According to Strausfeld, the arachnid brain stands in a league of its own, indicating that its very organization may correlate with heightened computational speed and superior motor control. The effectiveness of spiders as hunters also hints at an intriguing evolutionary pressure on insects. As Strausfeld notes, insects that can take to the skies possess a significant advantage when faced with a pursuing spider. However, even with their ability to fly, insects often find themselves ensnared in the intricate webs constructed by spiders. To explore whether the resemblances between M. symmetrica's brain and those of modern spiders stem from a shared lineage, or are simply coincidental, the research team employed a specialized computer program to assess the likelihood of a relationship. By comparing various brain and body traits across both living and extinct arthropods, they concluded that the lineage of Mollisonia eventually evolved into the arachnid group, hinting at its potential role in shaping what could be regarded as the planet's most successful arthropod predators. As a further exploration, readers might ponder, how could a creature from the ocean evolve into one of the land's most effective hunters? And do you think our understanding of arachnid evolution is fundamentally shifting? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's dive into this discussion together. Groundbreaking fossil reveals spiders evolved in the sea, not on land. A tiny fossil might completely rewrite what we thought about the origin of spiders and their relatives, arachnids, and where they first evolved. For decades, the prevailing belief has been that these creatures only diversified after their ancestors had fully conquered land. But a groundbreaking new study analyzing a remarkably preserved fossil from around 500 million years ago suggests these fascinating creatures originally evolved in the ocean. This surprising discovery challenges long-standing ideas and opens up new conversations about the evolutionary history of arachnids. Spiders and scorpions have been roaming the earth for about 400 million years with surprisingly little change in their form. Along with other closely related arthropods lumped together as arachnids, they have been incredibly successful predators on land. Traditionally, scientists believed arachnids appeared exclusively on land and diversified there based on the fossil record. But this new research hints at a far more aquatic past. The study, led by Nicholas Strausfeld from the University of Arizona, and published recently in Current Biology, involved a detailed look at the fossilized brain and central nervous system of an extinct species called Mollisonia symmetrica. This ancient animal lived during the Cambrian period, somewhere between 540 and 485 million years ago. Until now, Mollisonia was thought to be an early relative of arthropods called chelicerates, an evolutionary group that includes today's horseshoe crabs, which are marine. But here's where it gets controversial. Instead of matching the brain structure found in horseshoe crabs, Mollisonia's fossilized neural architecture closely resembles the brain layout seen in modern spiders and their arachnid kin. This discovery suggests that arachnids may have inherited their unique brain organization from ocean-dwelling ancestors, a detail still heavily debated among scientists. Strausfeld explains, there is ongoing vigorous debate about when and where arachnids first appeared, and what their closest ancestors looked like, whether these were marine creatures like horseshoe crabs or semi-aquatic species. Mollisonia itself has a body composed of two main sections, like other chelicerates from the early Cambrian, with a broad frontal carapace and a sturdy segmented trunk ending in a tail-like structure. This layout is somewhat similar to scorpions, although Mollisonia was never thought to be more than a primitive basal chelicerate. What truly sets Mollisonia apart is its fossilized brain and nervous system. In the front part of its body, called the prosoma, it shows a radiating pattern of segmental ganglia that control 5 pairs of appendages, a setup remarkably similar to those in modern arachnids. It even has short nerve connections extending to pincer-like claws, reminiscent of spider fangs. But the deciding factor is the unusual organization of Mollisonia's brain. The pattern is reversed compared to the typical front-to-back layout found in crustaceans, insects, centipedes, and horseshoe crabs. It's almost as if the brain structure seen in these other arthropods has been turned backwards in arachnids, similar to Mollisonia and modern spiders. Frank Hirth, a co-author from King's College London, believes this flipped brain design was an important evolutionary step. Studies of living spider brains suggest that this reversed arrangement allows for faster neural communication and streamlined control over complex movements. This setup likely contributed to the exceptional stealth, quick pursuit abilities, and in spiders' case, extraordinary web-spinning skills that have made them such effective predators. Hirth states, this brain configuration appears to be exclusive to arachnids, yet we already see key brain domains in Mollisonia that mirror those found in living species. This allows us to predict common genetic elements shared across all arthropods. Strausfeld adds, the arachnid brain is unlike any other brain on Earth. Its unique organization seems linked to rapid processing and precise motor control. Interestingly, the first animals to crawl onto land were probably creatures resembling millipedes and some ancestral insects, themselves part of the crustacean evolutionary branch, according to Strausfeld. It's easy to imagine that a Mollisonia-like arachnid adapted to terrestrial life, preying on these early land dwellers. This predator-prey relationship may have even driven the evolution of crucial defense mechanisms, such as insect wings, giving them the ability to fly and escape from relentless arachnid hunters. Strausfeld highlights this fascinating dynamic. Flying is a game-changer when chased by a spider. Yet, despite their aerial mobility, millions of insects still fall victim to the delicate, intricate webs spun by spiders. To conduct their research, Strausfeld spent time at Harvard's Museum of Comparative Zoology examining the Mollisonia specimen. He took extensive photographs under varying lighting conditions and magnifications to unveil its detailed neural structures. To ensure that the similarities in the brain structure between Mollisonia and modern spiders weren't just coincidental, arising from parallel evolution, co-author David Andrew performed a rigorous statistical analysis. Comparing 115 neurological traits across both extinct and living arthropods, Andrew's analysis placed Mollisonia as a close relative of modern arachnids. This supports the idea that the lineage of Mollisonia led to today's diverse arachnid family, which includes spiders, scorpions, sun spiders, vinegaroons, and whip scorpions. Sadly, other fossils similar to Mollisonia don't preserve nervous systems in enough detail for such analysis. However, if they shared this distinctive brain type, their descendants may have branched out onto land, giving rise to the variety of arachnid forms we know today. So, what does this mean for our understanding of arachnid evolution? Could the ocean really be the true birthplace of spiders and their kin? Does this shift how we think about early terrestrial ecosystems and predator-prey dynamics? Are we overlooking a major chapter in the evolutionary history of one of Earth's most successful predator groups? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you agree that arachnids' roots lie in the sea, or is there another explanation? What implications do you see for this discovery in understanding evolution at large? Jump into the comments and share your perspective. The debate is just beginning.